Hey everyone, redoing this. I apologize. We had some technical difficulties with this, and I wanted to get this started up for you guys. Realizing that we couldn't do the actual live video with screen sharing. So we'll give it a second for people to jump in here so they can see what's going on, what we got happening, and whatnot, So as you probably can see, we have a business page and whatnot. And then we also have our East Coast group. With that, we also have a bunch of things that's going on. But our big thing right now everyone's seeing is our actual great resource where you can get different links. You can get different posts that we have, assets for sale, group foreign directory, all that kind of good things. We're in the process of getting audio files together as well, which is awesome. So what we now are able to do is take what we emailed out about our car example, right? Our car example talks about being able to calculate, being able to accurately and responsibly put a bid calculation together. We also allow people to go through multiple assets within a few minutes. So it's really interesting how we're able to do these kind of things and see how things come out based on nothing else but the data based on what you put into it, right? So with that said, there is no feelings, no emotions. It's based on data driven only. So let me get started here. Let me see if there's any, and feel free, again, we don't do this often, so I apologize if we don't see something, whatever. We're trying to figure out how to work the new technology as Facebook has given to us. But as you probably can see here, this is our template bid calculator that you're actually going to see. This process here allows anyone to go from an input tape, be it Excel or Google Sheet, and allow them to responsibly, accurately, reducing errors, bring all the data into one location, and automatically calculate your bid number based on the variables you set. So what we have is a bunch of variables. We're going to give you a ton of it, right? The variables set right here will be, you can edit these. In each question mark, we'll have an example of what you should put in there, right? And what it kind of means. You're going to add a few things in here, right? And these are kind of things we'll get into detail. Once you have that done, we also have state timeframes, which is amazing because this is stuff that we all calculate and figure out. This all goes in the calculator. Again, editable information. Next, we have a set default for input folders as well as a set default for output. So when you bring in the data, you can bring it in from the same location. And when you output the same location. So what this primarily does is takes in complete index of properties with all the data we get from our input tapes and take that data plus adding your value and your annual tax amount for that property and then shoots out a full layout of a bid calculator or ROI calculator and allows the data to put into that, calculate what your bid should be based on the worst case scenario. When that worst case scenario is set out, it will then allow you to know why it's based on it, what factors came to it, what expenses are going to as well. When we have that data together, it also shoots out a Word document. A Word document comes into play where it in written word tells you what the bid was about the property and what the percentage of UPB and BPO and things of that nature are. What we found out was that people are sometimes not spreadsheet friendly. So the data, the actual document itself will lay out everything for you. So what we're going to be doing is we actually go through a data sheet, and if you're missing variable, it catches it. So we have another one here. So when we open this up, we're actually going to go through steps to find it, input it. We're going to work on headers so that it matches everything out, and then it'll export, right? The exportation of it will export right to again, a spreadsheet and show you exactly what you bid and what you need to bid. Let me give you an example. So this here is basically test version we have, right? So when we go through it, it's going to figure out what our data is and add headers. So in the adding headers part is actually a quick kind of example of what we're looking to do. And headers are based on the fact of the next due date, property address, and whatnot. So when we go through this, we're actually going to take that data and we're going to map headers. Mapping the headers is the most difficult part. However, we've been able to set up a system where we can save that, right? So when we save things, right, it saves the mapping of what each sheet is. When you have each sheet, the data in the sheet can change, but most of the time sellers have the same data. If we can, we're going to actually save that data, which is in here, right? Okay. So when we go back, it will fill in everything here. Boom, boom, boom. And let me just share with you guys that this whole process here can also be done through a spreadsheet version. When the spreadsheet version is opened up, now you're actually mapping headers to our calculator data. And when you update it, you can update it here. I'm just going to close it out for now. These kind of things tell you, kind of explain what these are, right? And we detail it. We can add that as we go along. With this said, I want to make sure you guys understand that this is the whole process of this is to actually speed up your process by allowing you to process multiple assets within just minutes. That is not easy to do, right? The reason being it's not easy to do is that when we do things like that, the mapping and the process of doing that can be daunting and physically difficult to do. So let me just bring up a sample version of it as we go through with it. And I'm going to just bring up a sample sheet for you guys so you can look at it. So here's an output of what it could look like, right? Boom. This is exactly what it shows up as. The spreadsheet. And gives you your bid number based on your parameters. Again, everything goes back to what variables you used and your value and your annual tax amount. So this is just a quick kind of overview of what it's going to look like and whatnot. This, because I put a different address in and whatnot, it pulls in Google Maps images of the property, right? So if this is the property address, it pulls in from Google based on the view. When you run it all, this will all come into here, all fill in. And again, a lot of people are based on BPO or UPB or whatnot. As we specifically said multiple times, we want to base on our returns and make the percentage of BPO or UPB be a byproduct and not actual determining factor. So I want to make sure that you guys get a glimpse of what we're building. We're in the process of making this as much as a user-friendly product, but understand that the information going in is very critical and you need to know what goes into it. So we're trying to blend the multiples. But at the end, we can actually process 10, 20, 30, 50 assets at any moment quickly and output it to a spreadsheet as well as we call Google Doc, a Word document, so you can actually send this as a PDF. Okay. Hopefully, if Google has an image, it will show up here. hopefully this will be all the data you need to either make a decision if you're not a spreadsheet person, or be enough data that you can rerun it. You can rerun these assets. You cannot, you know, you can run as many times as you want. Our process will be easier once you get everything set up, and the process setting up will be the most difficult part of it. So I wanted to quickly jump on here. Hopefully we figured out the technology part of this, and we can ensure that if there's any questions, we can you know, answer them for you guys. But as you can see, as I scroll through it, you can see what comes out of it. Servicers, attorney information for that state. And we go across here, some timelines. All this gets pulled in from your original data sheet, from your timelines and your variables. Hope to answer any questions, and look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Take care, all.